So can you see my screen? Are you able to see my screen, friends?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right now, okay, sir.
Yeah, two things,
Yes, yeah.
screen and voice. Just checking so that I can continue without any interruption. So you are able to see screen, you are able to hear my voice,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes.
Right. Then let's get into the map topic. What is map here? What is filter and reduce? These are all advanced Python built-in functions. Even I shared one high priority functions which are used in Python. Somewhere today I found something interesting and shared in our groups as well. Just see that. That is also very informative, right? So first thing, let us see how this map is useful. Lot of times when you do development in Python, we have a lot of dependency on map or filter or reduce, right? So let's get into the map topic. Now, what is map here? See, one important point is all these are built-in iterators. They are functions come iterators. So when we talk about this, we can just add a point here. What is this? All these functions, what we are seeing on top, are built-in iterators. Also come functions. They are both. Now, how they are useful? Well, let's see multiple use cases. We will build something with map function using lambda function at the same time regular functions, normal functions. We'll see both examples that gives you a very deeper idea about this thing. Okay. Now, the best thing is let us take a scenario for map function. Okay, but before that, this is clear, right? What is that? All these are built-in iterators, come functions. Okay, every function here is an iterator. That is one important point. Just remember, friends. Next one. Let us start with map. What map does? Map or filter or reduce. All these are iterators which try to iterate on a value. So what this does is they iterate on a value or on a group of values, which generally we call them as what? Some data structures. They are useful for iterating on certain data structures. So this is one thing. Okay, next one. What map does? Map will iterate value by value. What it does, it iterates value by value and performs some operation on that value, like adding something to that or subtracting something from that. And it try to make some change to that value, perform some operation on that. Okay, we'll see with an example that gives you more idea. So this is another important point. So we now what is the syntax of map here? Right, we just need to have a quick idea about syntax of map. Map generally here it takes two things. One, a function, comma, two, an iterator. Again, to map function, again you should pass some iterator. This is simple syntax of map, and same thing for even filter and reduce. Syntax is same. There is a slight change in their behaviors or functionality. That's all, friends. You got it right. Map, function, or iterator. So sorry, this is the syntax, friends. So what is syntax? You have a map, and to this we should pass some function. And in place of this function, you can pass either a normal function or a lambda function, right? Then another important thing is what? Here you must and should pass an iterator. That is very important. Okay. So next after that, we should see some example. And with that example, we try to understand the behavior or functionality of map and how map works, iterates on each value, how it will try to perform some operation on that value. All that we see step by step in detail. Okay. So first thing, so let us take an example. We take a list of values here, something like value list or integer list, anything is fine. Equal to you take just a couple of values in a list like this. Okay. So this is a value list. Now what I want is I just pass this list to the map function. I'm giving you some explanation here, then we'll jump to the Python. So you take map, you take your map function. To this, just pass this value list here. In place of iterator, just pass this value list. Now what I want to do some addition of all these values in this list. So the requirement is what? So we are going to do addition of or sum of elements of a list. This is the requirement, sum of elements of a list. First, I am discussing or we are trying to understand the functionality, and then we go and test it in the Python. Okay, so that gives you more deeper understanding. Okay, so now what is that sum of list here? This one. So that if you simple, what is that you should do? Just create a list, or you can take from any Google source as well. It's up to you. I just took a simple list here. And as per syntax, what is it? This is the syntax of map. It just takes a function. Either it can be a lambda or it can be a regular function. You can pass anything here. And how to pass it, how to create it, I will show you, friends. You don't need to worry much about it. Okay. So next after that, here you should pass that iterator. So in place of iterator, you should pass any iterable object. What is that? Any, not iterator. You can pass iterable object. I'm just making more clear for you. So iterable object means it can be a list or tuple or dictionary or anything, friends. You got it right? Or set or even string, anything. It should be iterable object. Okay, that's it, friends. So now let us test on this functionality. What is that we should do? If you want to do sum of all these elements, you should create add here, and you should take one parameter. What is that parameter we should do? Let's take parameter as a sum value itself. Okay, colon. So now what you have to do? Take one variable. We have to take one variable to add this. Just a minute. Sum underscore. So sum value, sum underscore value equal to sum underscore value plus this one, whatever this is passing, which is passing. This map function is passing. So this is how this anyhow. This is a very simple function. What we are creating. You got it right, fine, friends. So just use a initialization variable here, set it to 0, because while adding, if you want to do it repetitive, if you want to do some of elements from a list or from a tuple or anything, we just need to do this sum equal to sum plus something value. Okay, val equal to sum val plus value. This is what you should do, friends. And then what is that you have to do? Once this is done, we have to return the result back. Return sum underscore val. Maybe we need a slight correction to this. I will check it again. I'm trying to just give you some basic idea how to implement this, all the requirements needed to a map. Generally, this function, we have to create it outside, or we can use lambda for that. Okay. So now you see here, I created a function simply like this to find some of these values. Okay. Which are passed by map function. Okay, friends. So let's test this now, how this is going to work. And then if any correction is needed, we'll correct it. So what did I do now? Finally, what I have to do is simple. I prepared before cooking, like how we keep all things ready. Before we apply something to map, first you should have a iterable object ready. Then a functionality that should be applied should be ready. And that we have to simply pass to the map function. So keep the prerequisites ready before you are applying them to a map function. So what do you do here with map? Simply now, just take this method, put it here. Okay, just add it, just pass add here, and just take your this one iterable object, which is list now, and pass it to map. Now what map do? Whatever the size of list, it will try to iterate all values of list and just pass it to the add method and try to perform addition on that, all these values, and finally return the result back. You got it right, friends? So suppose, so that's what it will do, friends. Or there is one more thing, I think, sorry. Okay, well, I'll correct it in the course of implementing our logic. Okay. Okay, friends, let's do it now. I'm testing it. Are you, before I test it, is this clear? What is map function? It takes two parameters. Make sure this is clear. The second parameter is iterable list. Then the first parameter is a function. We have to create some customized function with some functionality, which should be passed to map. And similarly, an iterable object which you want to iterate using map function. What map does? Map try to iterate every element here, each element from the list, 1, 2, 3, and add some functionality to that. Maybe better, I think I should make a small change to the logic. It's okay, fine. Let's go one by one. I'll do it. Now go to the PyCharm and right click and then new and then Python file map underscore test.py. Just add it. Close this, close this, close this. Okay, copy this here. Otherwise, I'll do one thing. I'll go one by one again so that at least if you observe this multiple times, if you are missing anything, that gap can be filled up. Okay. So first thing, so adding for this actually addition reduce is best. Okay, fine. Let me try to do this. What happens? Right. Values of a map function. Sorry, okay. Doing sum of elements of a list using map. Now just take a list here, friends. Some list one equal to just simple list, some 4 or 5 values. Next, after that, just implement a functionality, diff add value, and then I think, okay, let me try that. If this works for us, some underscore val equal to 0. So what I am doing here, some underscore val. This is equal to some underscore val plus value. I'm just trying to add like this. Let's see what happens. Showing error. No problem. Let me try to return and see what will it. Plus by error. Let me put a cursor there. Unresolved reference some value. We have here it right. Maybe it is expecting a local value. We can do this. There is nothing wrong with this. It's somewhere. Okay, I got it finally. It is looking for something, I hope. Let's add this and see. Then later on, it will automatically fix it. Now, take a map function, copy this add, and pass it to the map. Copy this list and add this to the map. Still, this is showing error. Sum equal to sum val plus value. Should work, right?
Actually, it's looking for value, right? What is value there in add?
Yeah, it's a parameter, right? Maybe is it a built-in one or what? Otherwise, we'll just pass it as a sum list underscore value. This should not happen because we did a lot of times sum of
Can
sum.
we pass like list one within in place of list underscore var? List one.
No, not like that because this map takes care of doing all that. Generally, we do this kind of operations also, right? We declare a global variable and try to get this. Okay, it's expecting a iteration.
Can you run this one?
It won't work. It's showing error, right? Maybe let's do it. We can run
Maybe
it.
pass that map one to a variable c equal to something. Yeah.
I'm directly printing it. Let's see. And here convert this to the list of map here. I think there is a slight correction needed. I'll correct it. No problem. As per functionality, I know very well. Yeah, you can see here. Do one thing, friends. Map generally, what it does is it takes iterator and iterate value by value and just perform something on that. It generally don't do this. This is a kind of reduction. Reduce function do this. So what I do is I just say list underscore val plus let me take a small scenario. In this list, what I want to do is I want to add each value by 100. What I want to do, add each value by 100. And again, I want to replace it. This is actually the functionality. Replace it into a list. Which one? Updated values. Means this should be input. Let me give you more clarity. This should be input. And output should be like this. And for that, we can take help of map. Output is, it should be something like this. Some 101, 102, 103, 104, 105. This, let's take this scenario. Ignore the previous one, friends. Okay. Take this. And now what you can simply say is list val plus 100 and simply say return list val. Okay. Return list val. This will perfectly work. And actually, this is how map works, friends. The one I took the example, it is not the right scenario or correct scenario, friends. This is the correct scenario. Okay. So now let us do one thing. Maybe I want to make you understand clearly. Please ignore the previous scenario. This is the perfect scenario. We have a list. What map does is I'm writing a statement here. Generally, the behavior of map is this. Map function is this. Get clear idea. What map does is iterate. You are passing a list here, right? This map iterates every value in the list, each value, like for how for loop iterates, even map also iterates value by value, and that value is passed to the function that we pass to the map function. What it will do? It will pass the value to this function here, and what it tries to do is it tries to change the each value that is present in the list here. Like for example, you see here, we are trying to update every value of the list by adding something with 100. So this is in these kind of cases, we apply map functions, right? When you have a list of values, with each value, you want to make some change to that value. In such cases, we depend on map function. What map does? For that, we just need to pass the method and the iterable object here. Now what it will do? It will iterate value by value from the list and each time it retrieves, that value is passed to add function. Now that is passed to add, and that value is incremented by 100, and that is written back to the map. Now map, what it will does, it collects each value that is written by the, that each result that is written by the method, and it will try to insert into a temporary list. It will internally create one result list, and all that results written by the function here are implicitly stored into that list. Okay, we'll see that now. Finally, we'll do one thing. First, directly let's assign this to a variable. So output list equal to this one, and then print output list. This will work, friends. The previous scenario is best fit for a reduce one, not for map functionality. Okay. When you are making group of values into a single value, in such cases, which one we should apply? Just remember, it is a very simple thing to understand. Apply reduce. Okay. That's it, friends. Then when should I apply map? You can see here when you iterate value by value and perform some operation on each value. Let me make it more clear on each value. For instance, in our example, what we are doing, we are trying to increment every value by 100 that is there in the list. Now, finally, what would be your output should look like? It should look like 101, 102, 103, 104, 105. So this is how, this is the actual thing what map function does, friends. You got it right. Finally, we try to do that, and we assign the result to output list. Let's see what would be the output here. We got a generator object here. This, when you see something like this, you don't need to worry about anything. It is a generator object. You have two ways to work with it, right? When you have a generator, you have two ways. Either convert this to directly to the list. One approach is convert this map directly to the list, because we want output in the list output, in the list form. Then convert it to a list. Suppose you ask me, I want to convert it to a tuple, then try to convert it to a tuple and see. Directly you can convert it to tuple as well. This map definitely performs some operation on the iterable object and the function with the function you are passing. And finally it will grab all the results and put and convert into some implicit iterable object. And now it's up to us what to do. We have multiple different approaches. One, it directly gives us a generator object. In such case, what is that I should do? For some val in output list, what should I do? I should iterate this generator object. So what I'm doing, I'm using a for loop. I think we use this hundreds of times so far in our Python sessions. So this is not something really difficult for you to understand. So just apply, print that val. No need of any decorations now. We are quickly testing our program here and checking what would be the output here. Output should be this one, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105. Okay. But it gets element by element. Right. Now run this. You can see here, seems like this is not working. We are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the output list. It's what is not happening. Maybe I'll do one thing. I'll directly do increment and return back and see list value. Copy this, put it here, and then add 100 to that. Okay. And then return it. Now run this. Let's see what happens. See, perfect. What was missing is earlier we are not reassigning. That's why it was missing. That's all. We can say some, what is that? This should work fine, friends. In a simple statement, we are able to get the expected result here. Can you see here? So this is what map does. The best thing to understand is, let me give you a clear picture. So this is your list. You have a list of values like this. Okay, 1, and then 2, and then 3. This is the behavior. Understand the behavior. Later on, you can work on multiple examples. 5 here. Okay. Now, and close the map. Generally, I'll give one tip today. When you are creating, if very big lists or very big dictionaries, then try to sort it like this, friends. Format it like this, element by element. Don't put comma and side by side. Maybe you can put comma like this, but format line by line like this. This is the standard thing we follow when you work in development. That also makes your code look pretty. Okay, fine. This is your list, right? So what map does here? Map is going to iterate element by element. First, it iterates one and it applies some operation on this. For example, for instance, it will add 1 plus 100. And similarly, again, it will iterate 2 and add something to this 2 plus something. It can be 100 or anything, just an example for it. It's not just addition. You can do anything, a product or some other operation. Okay. It iterates third value. What map does? Iterates third value and adds something. And again, it iterates fourth value, 4 plus 100. And iterates fifth value, 5 plus 100. So what is happening here? Map iterates that iterable object which you are passing. It might be list or tuple or dictionary. You can pass anything to map here. In place of this iterable thing, you can pass anything here. And it will take this iterable object, iterate value by value, and apply this functionality on these values. Which functionality? Here we are doing some adding functionality, that to incrementing every value of list by 100. So finally, that is what map does here. It will take the value by value from this iterable object and apply and pass it to this function or functionality. And what it will do? Make some change to the value of this list. And that is, it will return this result, right? It will try to, what it will does is it internally in memory, it creates a inbuilt list, a temporary list, and it will collect value by value like this into that temporary list. Right? So implicitly, this happens in memory. And finally, what happens when all those values, iterations is completed here, then it will create one object. Now, what is the thing here? It will return that. So either in map object format, or if you apply a simple list here, see, apply a simple conversion. If it is a map object, all these values are iterated, all these values are extracted and stored, and it will try to convert maybe something. Just assume this is a map object. Try to convert it to something called a map object like this. Okay, map underscore, I'll put like this, otherwise maybe you might confuse again with map function and map object. So all your values inside map object. Now what you are doing a conversion to the list. Then means what? That map object, when you say a list of something, that whatever map object is there, that completely converts to your list object like this: 101, comma 102, comma 103, comma 103, comma 104, comma dot. See, this is what happens, friends. See, I try to introspect it at the very bottom level of topic here. I have gone into the, like Ant-Man, how he goes into that quantum world. We have gone into memory level and we are discussing what happens at memory level. You got it, right? So this is the understanding. If you have, you can easily play with your scenarios or anything in your project. Okay. And finally, I did this conversion. What is the expectation now? This time you don't need to iterate value by value. You don't get a generator object like this, like how we have map object now. It just finally converts that entire map object into a list if you convert it to a list. And this time, if you want, you can iterate it because this is a list. But if you want to just quickly see the output, just remove this as a list, just print this output list. It is enough. Now run this and see this time. Can you see here? If we converted this map to list, finally we got our output as read in a readable format. What format? This is direct readable format. The previous one is, suppose this one is what? So I am removing list here. If I remove list, what format we get now? This is not readable format. We don't get a direct readable format if you just apply map function. So we are closing this. We don't need two friends. One is it. Okay, fine. So this doesn't yield or produce a direct readable object. We get a map object. On top of that, we should do again an iteration. And this is finally the behavior of map function here, friends. Do you get it? I hope you got it, but still I am just double checking. Are you clear with this, friends? So this is scenario one. We'll do one thing. Let's not do like this. Best thing is make it as test cases. Always when you are working with something, especially when you are learning or doing something, create multiple test cases. Don't just change the same code again and again, so that you get a clear observation. Okay. You make it as test case one now. Again, take another test case. That case is this directly yields what? Maybe you can add a small comp. This generates what? Generates a map output. Okay. So that's what this does. And we should iterate it. Now next test case 2. We are converting to list. And again, if you list means, you can iterate. Even we should iterate any collection. And iterating it. Okay, scenario 2. Convert into a list. Okay, now this you can leave it like this because this works for any iterator. Okay, that to sequence, not the dictionary or set. Okay, for sequence, this definitely works. Except dictionary, it works for all, even for set also. Okay, let's run this now. Now you can see we can see two outputs, which makes more sense for us. You can see here. One is map object, of course. In the scenario 2, test case 2, I didn't do the required conversion to the list. Okay, do the conversion, run this. Now you can see in the first case we got map. Sometimes the window will be little, you can expand it. We got map, iterated map, and we are able to read all the values and see the result. And that change is applied on each value of iterator. So map is working perfectly fine. Next, second scenario, we got list as output as we tried to do that, convert it, and we iterated that list and we got each value by value here. So that's all, friends. This is the simple idea about map here. Do you understand this now? This should give you a very bird level understanding of map function. So now I'll just share this code base with you. Let me share this with you. Is this clear for all of you, friends? Able to understand this? Sorry. Yeah. The first scenario which I took is actually a wrong scenario, friends. Later on, we took the correct scenario for map function. Okay. So please take this and you can test this code. I hope you don't have any questions on this, right? Any questions? Are all of you are fine with this topic? Maybe a thumbs up or anything should be very clear for me. If you are clear, just give me a thumbs up. That's enough, friends. Or please answer the chat box. So this is about map with a normal function. Suppose I want to rewrite same thing by using lambda, right? So what I want to do? So I want to refine the same code. What I want or redefine. I want to refine scenario 2. This is scenario 2, friends. And this is scenario 1. Right. Let me make it much more clear for all of you. This is scenario 1. But there is a slight change in the logic here. We remove this scenario, this one. We try to simply just increment with some value. And we said some value plus 100, right? Something like this. Sorry, any question? Any question to me? I'm hearing something. Any question, friends? Okay, then if no question to me, I'll go with the flow. Let's take scenario. I think this is the perfect thing what we created for scenario one. Scenario two, I am refining the scenario one. What I am doing, refining or redefining, you can call this scenario one. I'm trying to write everything here so that you don't have any gap with the understanding, friends. I don't want to waste your time. In fact, if it is a office, what is that? We use PPTs and all these sessions which we covered in this, I think almost 40 sessions or 43 or 44 sessions completed. All these topics, we just cover it in 2 to 3 days. That's all. There will be a PPT, there will be some 3 or 4 hours. We have to just rush like that. Of course, I try to make sure, even with that pace, to make sure that is understandable. Okay. But here, I'm taking time because I want these things very clear for all of you friends. Okay. Now coming to the point, let's not waste much time. Refining or redefining scenario. How? This is the question. Replace. Let me give you a requirement. Replace your function, normal function with normal function with lambda function. What? Lambda function. Interesting, right? See, now what do you do? Simple. Now, only thing is you just need to make a small change here. So now you copy this. So copy this one. If you are using lambda, you don't need to do anything, friends. No need of extra function. Straightforward. Just take the list. Straightforward. Just add a lambda here. What is that lambda? LAMBDA. You know, right? We implement lambda functions in a line. And that too, we had a very clear point. We made a very clear point in lambda function discussion, maybe yesterday or day before yesterday, that lambda functions also can be passed as parameters to functions. We made a very clear point yesterday or day before yesterday when we discussed lambda. What is that? Lambda functions. Okay. Sorry. Can be passed as parameter to another functions. So this is one more important thing, and this is one of the greatest advantage with lambda functions because they are just mini functions and short functions, and they are very useful. Right? They are short and effective functions. Lambda space. What, friends? X colon. This is the parameter. You don't need to do anything. That passing of iterating list, passing each value to the either a normal function or a regular function, and collecting all the results written by normal function or lambda function. All that is done by whom? This map function. Right. That is why the map is also an iterator, built-in iterator. You are not doing all that. You are just passing, just creating a simple function and a list that should be passed to function. That's all. The rest of the thing is taken care by the map itself here. So this is how this is the beauty of map function. Okay. So what is that I should do? Each time it iterates this list, one value is passed to X. Now what should I do? On that value, I should increment by 100. See, same program, we just refine just in one line instead of writing. At least you can see this appears little huge, little big here when you look at this. But when you look at a map with lambda, it's almost very simple and sweet here. That's all, friends. You got it right. So this is the advantage with lambdas. You can just optimize your code in a very simple way, friends. Okay. So that's all. This is what we should do with lambda. Now let's go to this one map test. Shall we create one more function? Let's do that. That's better, right? Create it. So map test 2. I'm saying map test 2. One is with normal function, another is with lambda. Maybe underscore lambda also you put, friends. That's always good to have a clear naming to each of your program. Just remember, even in my development, I just provide meaningful names so that when somebody observe that, then they should able to understand what program is that. Okay, let's leave it like that. Now create another list here. What do you want to do? You can take, so just add that here. What is that? Lambda functions. So I'm just copying this statement here. Normal function with lambda function as parameter to map function. Okay, just put it like that. Now take one list of your choice. Anything is fine, friends. Something like list underscore integers. Okay, equal to, you can take anything 100, some 200, 300, 400, anything 500. Okay, now what do you want to do? Just apply map function. This time, see, you can simply directly say output. Okay, result. I'll just put like this. Our output list. If you want list, put it as list equal to simply map of apply. First, second parameter should be what? List underscore integers. Iterable object is the always second parameter is iterable object like any data structure. Okay, you can copy and paste it here. Copy and paste it here. So first one should be what? Your functionality. Any built-in function or any customized function should be passed here. LAM, EDA, X colon, some X plus. You can do incrementation with how much ever value on friends. You can say some 1000 here this time. Okay, I'm adding 1000 with the lambda. Right now we are done. That's all. See, just 2 lines, and third line is what? Third line is, if you want, you can print directly out list, output list. Of course, let me make it clear. I just missed on that put part here. Okay. And this is test case 1. Again, make sure you add proper test cases when you are implementing something and print the output of test case. Now copy this. Again, create one more test case for testing purpose. Test case 2. And what is that we do? Convert it to a list. For a change, let's convert this to a tuple. Okay. Let's see if it returns tuple directly. So always we should have experimenting mind. Okay. Then you can learn more, friends. Got it, right? That's what I do. I'll do my work even in office. Sometimes my LOB asks me, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And I answer, this is what I am thinking. This is why I did this. You got it right, friends? Else we can't learn, friends. Just an FYI. Okay. So let's run this. See, we got tuple, perfect tuple. See, we are able to get tuple. We are able to get list. So convert this, the resultant map in into whichever data structure you want. So you are what is that here? You are someone who knows what you want. Got it right? So based on requirement, that resultant map which it produces, convert it to a list or a tuple or a dictionary or a set or whichever you think is fit to that requirement. Okay. So finally, this is about refining your code with the lambda functions. Copy this. And then what is that we do? I'm sharing this code base with you. Let me share this code base with you. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Please. Sorry. Interesting. Okay. So this is about what, friends? Map function. Filter is see now Almost the behavior of all these functions are same, friends. Only thing is, what is that? There will be a slight change in the functionality. You got it right, friends. Suppose now get to the filter. What is that? And syntax is same for all these, friends. Syntax will be same even for map or filter or reduce. I don't think we have a different syntax. If any of these advanced Python functions have a function and iterable object as a part of that map function as parameters otherwise. Okay, so let's get to the next topic, filter topic. FIL filter. What filter does here? Okay, it's simple, friends. It is also an iterator filter function. What this does? It is also an iterator, right? Iterate value by iterator. Iterate value, same thing. It also does the same thing. Iterate value by value. And as name says filter, on each value, we can apply a condition. When you are using filter function means there is something, there is some condition you apply on each value. You got it right? And apply a condition on each value. Right. When you have this kind of requirement, we choose filter function. You got it right, friends. I think the statement itself makes very clear for you. Iterate value by value and apply a condition on each value. Right. Iterating value by value, map takes care of it. Sorry, filter function takes care of it. And applying condition also it will do that. Only thing is what should be done, what functionality should be done, that we have to pass in the form of a function. Okay, we should create a customized function and pass it to the filter so that passing values and calling that function and extracting all results and final filter results, whatever we get it. The gathering all those results is done by the filter itself. Next one. Suppose what filter does is like map it, we don't give you values as again a result. Like if you pass here in the case of map here, you see this looks pretty good for us. See here. If you pass 1, we don't get 1 or 1. If you pass 2 here, we got 1 or 2. If it is map, you pass some value, you get some other value as a result. So finally, both are values. But if it is filter, it works like this. What is filter? Let me just show you here. If it is filter, we pass a value and filter apply a condition. What is that? Filter apply a condition. And after that, what it do? If condition is true, if that value is satisfying condition, it returns true. Okay, returns true. What it does? Okay, if condition is true, right? Else return false. This is the behavior of which one, friends? Behavior of filter function. You got it right. When we see an example, but anyhow, it's simple. Just I'm giving you a clear idea about how filter works. That's all, friends. Got it now? So if you want to check on something and if you want to just get some Boolean values substituted, then filter is the best choice there. You got it right, friends. So now, what is the syntax here? Syntax even for filter is same. What is that syntax? You can copy this one, not this, sorry. Same syntax of map. Okay. Or put it here. And he just in place of map, just change this to filter. Okay. Now let us check the example because we are already in the flow. It's very simple to understand filter. Now create one more function, right click new and then Python file. And what do you do right now? Here you can say filter test. Okay. Using underscore regular. We are passing regular function as parameter. Okay. And in the second case, we apply lambda. Okay. No need to add your files to GitHub. I'll push it all once, maybe tomorrow on the day before weekend. Okay. So this is fine. Close all this. Now what do you do? Let's take a list here. So applying filter on filter function on a list of values. So what do you do right now? First thing, you have to have some input, an iterable object. You can take list tuple or whatever you want, friends. It's up to you. Okay. First, understanding concept is important. Later on, you can get into the complexity. Okay. So here, just pass values here. How do you pass? Take any random value, something like 10, some 15, some 20, okay, some 19, some okay, something like 55, something like this. And in this list, we have both even and odd numbers, right? So we will go now. We check for this if it is even or odd here. Let's do that now. DEF some even check or number check. You put it here, friends. Number check. Okay, this is the function. I'll take some value because we get only one value at a time from a map. No, we don't get bunch of values, friends, because it iterates value by value. Put a value here. Just a simple condition check. What is that? If or otherwise you can directly say best thing is return value percentile 2 equal to 0. That's all. Right? A straightforward. You can do this, friends. Instead of you can assign to some variable and return it, or else you can directly do this. This is the simple condition we are creating. Just getting a value, validating if it is even or not, and just returning that back. Okay. Now let us apply filter. Output some result equal to. Okay. Some filter of what is that you should do now? That function, first parameter is function, just copy that function, customized function, and pass it to that as first parameter. Second one is list, pass the list here. Now finally we are done with this. Step one is we have prepared a list, right? List of integers. Okay. Second, testing, even or not. Okay, that is what we are doing in second. We prepared a customized function. And third, what is the third one? We are applying a filter. And finally, just simply applying a filter. Okay, next, finally, printing your output. So here, just print output result. Let us see what would be the return type of filter here. Right? What would be return type? Maybe you can put cursor and come to know that quickly. What is the return type of filter? You don't need to wait for that. You can see this saying self, return type is self, should be it will return a filter object. Okay, but let us see. Let us see here. Let's run this finally. And let's see what would be the output look like. See, we got a filter object. Okay, how did I tell that? Right, simply I put a cursor on the function, just examine the definition of function. And in this, it is returning self. Self means what? Filter. Means it is returning a filter object. You should be able to understand this also, friends. When you look at this metadata, you should be able to understand what all parameters it is having. What is this iterable? What is this none? All this. Try to explore all this as well, friends. Okay. Finally, it's okay. That's fine. We got a filter object. In this case, okay, this is test case 1. We are applying what, friends? Test case 1. And we are just directly getting a filter object as return type. And you know that's a kind of generator. Okay, then what is that you should do for val in output result? Or you can say output filter, otherwise anything should be. What is that you should do? Print value. Now run this. So what would be the output, friends? Do you think you can see some integer values, or means we are trying to check for even? What is the expectation? You think you get all even values here? Is that the what we are expecting? Might be for first time we might think that, but after seeing result, right, you can see here it is giving, generally we should get true or false, 10 and 20. This should be fine. Okay. Just step back. Let me double confirm. Filter should return booleans generally. It's okay. Yeah. It doesn't work according to me. Okay, let's check this example. Oh, it's straight away giving the values. Yeah. Oh, yes, friends. I think there is a slight correction to the statement. It won't return boolean. It will apply the condition and returns values which satisfy condition. Slight correction, that's all. Hope I am not confusing, okay? Which satisfies the condition. Just a slight correction. I expected true or false in place of true in place of this values, but it is clearly filtering that and returning values as expected. So that is a small correction, friends, okay? So now everything is fine, right? I don't think you have any other issue here. Next one, test case 2. Let's take one more test case and apply this test case 2. This time what? Rewrite or refine this program with lambda. Refine it with what? And also you can see one more thing here. What is that? Yeah. Refine this with lambda, friends. Nothing. Please ignore that. Refine this with the lambda. How simple, right? Very simple. You can simply say lambda space some x. If not x, you can choose any variable, friends. Don't think that we should use always x colon. We should apply a condition check here. What is that? Simply x percentile 2 equal to 0. Just do this and see. Right? You don't need to apply if here. As far as I remember, no need of applying any if here. Just apply the condition. It will automatically apply this condition check, and whichever satisfies, that should be written back. Okay, let's anyhow test it and see. And also one more thing is convert this filter. Generally, if you are working in a project, we generally convert it to a list or tuple. Okay, and also that's all, friends. Anyhow, we can iterate any data structure. We can keep this iterator as is. No need to remove it. Let's run this now. Right? What is the output? This is from what? This is from your filter object. This is from our list object. So this is from test case 2. Maybe add little better comments. Okay, that shows what is output in first iteration or first test case, output in second test case, to make sure our output is even readable. That is also important, friends. Okay, so this is simple idea. See, we are able to get same result in different ways, different approaches. This is the functionality of filter, friends. Hope you got it right. So that's all, friends. So now what I do is I will share this with you. Let me share this code with you. You can also test it. I think the scenario is very clear, right? Yes. Okay, then. So one more is there for us. What is that one? That is the another scenario is what, friends? Reduce. That we'll take it up tomorrow. I think we'll finish it. Mostly we don't take much time. Maybe within the next 15 minutes or 20 minutes we'll power up reduce, or next 10 minutes tomorrow. And then we jump to Git and GitHub scenario. This is a bit of very interesting and useful thing. And it is an advanced concept in Python and applicable not only for Python development. It is used, maybe you can check it outside, friends. It is used in different environments. Even if you go to, what is that, even DevOps people or, I already mentioned all these details, okay? You can use it anywhere. After that, maybe we'll jump to how to integrate GitHub with your PyCharm. I'll show you that very clearly step by step, and also how to apply Git commands. Implementing Git commands is very important, friends. Learn those commands, understand them clearly. Okay? So that's all, friends, for today. Again, we will catch up tomorrow. If you have any questions, please ask me, else we will close this session. That's all. I'm also stopping the recording. Any questions?